Fight Night Paris is in the books. I'm going to be going through this entire card, top to bottom, giving my reactions to what went down. Man, what a night of fight! Like day of fights for us, night for them. You get what I mean. What a card! 11 finishes, really good fights all around. Dude, the prelims was all finishes up until the first fight on the main card with Willem Gomez and Ruchala. But other than that, man, like killer night of fights, super good card. The crowd was hype. I knew this was going to be a good one. So yeah, let's jump into it. Starting with the main event, I had Imavov going into this fight. I had him by round 4 finish. I thought he would get a TKO in round 4. He did get a decision, and it kind of played out how I expected it, right? Like he was just much more technical on the feet. Borralho wasn't really able to land clean on him that much. He did land a lot more than I thought, so credit to him. But, Nassourdine Imavov being the technician he was, I knew he was going to be a problem for Borralho on the feet. I knew it was going to be hard to take him down. I did think Borralho would be able to get the fight to the ground a few times, but it just never happened. Now, he did win round 3, looked pretty good. Outstruck Nassourdine, landed the better shots. And then Nassourdine came storming back rounds 4 and 5 to secure that victory. A lot of eye pokes, a lot of groin strikes in the fight, but all in all, it's really what I thought was going to happen. Nassourdine is just a level above Caio Borralho, and again, dude, it's just like I've said these guys need to be training chain wrestling, right? And it was apparent in this fight, right? Caio Borralho, I think he shot 5 takedowns. Most of them are body locks. And it's just like, dude, that's the biggest problem with these jiu-jitsu guys is their body lock takedowns are terrible. They're terrible for getting a fight to the ground. They need to be chain wrestling, dude. Like, you need to be shooting down for a single against the cage, pulling them away from the cage, changing off to a double, turning the corner, driving them into the ground. It's just much more of a clean way to get people down so you can work that world-class ground game, which I know he has. And I thought if it got to the ground, it'd be a little bit more competitive and interesting. I still had Nassourdine winning. So yeah, I mean, you have to give him the title shot next at this point. I know we have Fluffy Fernandes versus Rainer de Ritter coming up, but those guys, either one of them could have a super impressive, dominant performance. I don't think it's enough to justify a shot over a guy like Nassourdine Imavov. I know he's a pretty reserved, kind of quiet guy. He doesn't bring a lot of hype around his fights, but dude, like, come on, like Borralho, Izzy, Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier. I mean, that's 4 guys who were in the top 5 at the time. So you got to give him the title shot, in my opinion. All right, moving on to the co-main event. I had Ruffy in this. I thought Benoit's aggression and his just lack of defense on the feet was going to get him caught. I had Ruffy by round 2 KO. I really thought he was going to capitalize on the recklessness of Benoit, but like, dude, Benoit to start the fight from the jump was like landing body kicks, landing good shots, popping Ruffy in the face. And dude, Ruffy, he just kept backing into the cage, and Benoit immediately would capitalize on it and take him down, right? And it's like one of the takedowns, he immediately passed him out. He was looking good. Now, Ruffy, to his credit, early was scrambling back, was able to scramble back to his feet, despite being like mounted and being in some really bad spots. Looked like Benoit was close to a submission a few times in the first round. But like Ruffy just looked flat-footed, dude. Like it was just, in all honesty, it was a dog shit performance by Mauricio Ruffy. Like it was good by Benoit, but more so I noticed just like how flat-footed and just like unaggressive Ruffy was in this fight. Like he just wasn't landing anything significant on the feet. Was easily taken down by Benoit multiple times. And then, eventually Benoit got him down again. Like, here's the biggest thing. Mauricio Ruffy, twice in this fight, reversed Benoit, got on top, and then just proceeded to let him back to his feet, and then got taken down like a minute or 2 later. Dude, I just don't understand that. Like, I feel like he could have landed some ground and pound and just really kind of like change the narrative of that fight. Maybe land some good elbows in the guard. Like, I know Benoit's dangerous on the ground. I know that's not Ruffy's game. But, like, I just feel like that might have changed the momentum of the fight if he would have stayed down, landed some good ground and pound shots to finish up round 1. Same thing around 2, dude. He reverses him, stays on top for like 10, 15 seconds, and then lets him back to his feet. Huge mistake. He gets taken down again. Benoit gets the back, secures the choke, and that's it. So Benoit surprised me, dude. Benoit did look pretty good, but like I mean, I hate to make it about how bad Ruffy looked, but dude, Ruffy looked dog shit tonight. Like, he didn't have that pep in his step. He wasn't light on the balls of his feet. You know, they were calling this guy the Brazilian Connor for a reason. He was flat-footed. He wasn't landing anything good, and his takedown defense was terrible. And he just made poor decisions throughout that fight, and Benoit capitalized on it, man. Like, this is the kind of guys you're going to be fighting in the rankings. This is probably one of the worst guys you will fight in the rankings of the lightweight division, and you got smoked. So, dude, the fighting nerds, those glasses ain't hitting the same anymore, man. I gotta tell you, those glasses are not hitting the same. Like, these guys are starting to get picked apart. Carlos Prates earlier this year, Mauricio Ruffy, Caio Borralho, like, dude, the fighting nerds are taking a hit right now, for sure. All right, moving on. Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. I had Modestas Bukauskas by second round TKO. I really like the way I thought it was going to play out. Obviously, was Paul Craig was going to pull guard, Modestas was going to posture up, maybe land a few, get back to the feet. Bukauskas looked kind of shit early, right? Like, he was kind of like lunging forward, stumbling forward with his punches, and like really allowed Paul Craig to be able to get into a clinch with him to try to like get a takedown, and he almost did a few times. Modestas Bukauskas was able to get away, get back to range. I mean, dude, it wasn't super impressive on the feet for him. It's just, dude, Paul Craig has nothing on the feet. He really doesn't. Besides like a basic body kick, the occasional head kick, he really just doesn't have much to offer on the feet. Towards the end of the round, like I think there's like a minute, 10 seconds left. Paul Craig does the classic pull guard, try to lock up a triangle, and then Modestas postures up and just starts beating the shit out of him on the ground. Devastating elbows, devastating shots. Right before the bell rang, there had to have been 2 seconds left. He just lands this nasty downward elbow, puts Paul Craig out. Really good finish by Modestas Bukauskas on the ground. I didn't think he was going to finish it on the ground. I thought he was going to get back up, eventually knock Paul Craig out on the feet. But, dude, that was some nasty, impressive ground and pound by Modestas Bukauskas. Moving on, Bolaji Oki, Mason Jones. Dude, this was shaping up to be fight of the night. Bolaji came out hot. He was aggressive. Dropped Mason Jones early. Was teeing off on him. Like, I can't believe Mason Jones survived that, because that was a wicked barrage from Bolaji. Heavy strikes on the ground. Mason Jones like was not able to tie him up, and then eventually just got back to his feet. Got a takedown like the last minute and a half of the round. And dude, Bolaji Oki, like, you could just tell he spent everything he had in that fight trying to finish Mason Jones. And he was like, you could tell he was definitely gassed, right? And then he has to, deal with Mason Jones on top of him, who's very active on top, by the way. Ground and pound, submission threats, was working for a Kimura towards the end of that round multiple times. Yeah, dude, he just spent Bolaji Oki, and then obviously round 3 comes out. Mason Jones immediately is just on the pressure on Bolaji, drops Bolaji in the second round, and then, eventually finishes him off by TKO, because Bolaji just didn't have anything left, dude. Like, that was a crafty performance by Mason Jones. Like, really good fight. I think I had him winning by, I can't remember if it was TKO, but yeah, hey, Mason Jones gets it done, man. Comes back, keeps composed when he's getting hammered on by Bolaji, takes advantage of Bolaji being gassed out, and goes out and KOs him in round 2. Axel Sola, Rhys Mckee. I had Rhys Mckee, dude, and dude, let's be honest in this fight. Axel Sola just out-athleticed him. Rhys Mckee is kind of like real plotty, real slow, not the most athletic guy in the world. You could just tell from the jump Axel Sola was more athletic. He was landing some good strikes in that karate stance. And Rhys was like starting to come on strong in round 3, right? Because Axel Sola was landing takedowns, wasn't able to do much with it. Dude, Rhys like crazy. Like Axel Sola has his back in the first round, and he's landing like these strikes all the way across his body, punching Sola in the face. Like that's how long this guy's arms are. But he was coming on strong. He was getting lit up with body shot. Rhys Mckee was getting lit up with body shots in the third. The final one was a nasty body shot, dropped him to his knees, and like, dude, within 5 seconds, the ref called it, stopped the fight. I don't really agree with the stoppage, and like, I think Rhys Mckee was robbed of a potential victory here, because who knows what would have happened, man? Because like, he was trying to get to his feet. I don't disagree with any of the other stoppages on this card, except for this one. Because all the other guys were kind of turtling up, laying there, trying to survive, whereas Rhys Mckee was fighting the hands, in the process of trying to get back up, and the ref called it. But yeah, I mean, hey, good win for Axel Sola in his debut. Moving on to William Gomis versus Robert Ruchala. I had William Gomis, obviously, but dude, Robert Ruchala like showed up and gave a good account of himself in that fight. Um, was landing takedowns, controlling Gomis for a bit. Gomis was doing a good job scrambling back up, but Robert Ruchala was on the pressure all night. Dude, with Gomis, though, like, the thing that drives me crazy is the fact that every time he disengages, he backs up in a straight line. And that allowed Robert Ruchala to back him into the cage multiple times and shoot a takedown, right? Similar to Benoit Mauricio Ruffy, he took advantage of his forward pressure, combined with the fact that William Gomis just backs into a straight line to the cage. And he got multiple takedowns and made this fight close simply because of the mistakes of Gomis, right? Like Gomis was clearly better on the feet, was landing leg kicks, body shots, head strikes, really mixing it up, looking dynamic. But every fucking time, dude, this guy would back up straight and get shot on and get taken down. And it's I have a hard time thinking William Gomis is going to beat anybody in the rankings because this was a guy. Obviously, he had a good record. I think he was like 11-1. Ruchala coming into the UFC, but like I felt like this fight was much closer than it had to be. Um, Obviously, in round 3, Gomis did what he had to do. He got 2 key takedowns towards the end. Finished the round with ground and pound because it was 1-1 going into the 3, dude. He got control for over 2 minutes in the second round because he likes to back up in a straight line towards the cage. So, like, decent fight, decent performance from Gomis, but like, he didn't have to make it that close. He didn't. But I did have him by decision, so I got that right at least. Okay, moving on to the prelims. Oumar Sy versus Brendson Ribeiro. I had Oumar Sy by decision, dude. Like, I thought he was just going to be kind of slow, methodical. Had a real big wrestling heavy approach right off the jump, landing takedowns. And yeah, dude, I think it was the second takedown. Yeah, he landed on Brendson. Nasty ground and pound finish. Was just smashing him with elbows and punches on the ground. Brendson wasn't doing anything. This is one of those stoppages like where it's like people complain, and I just can't imagine why you would complain when you're sitting there turtling up while someone's hammering you on the ground with a barrage of punches, and you just sit there doing this. You're gonna get the fight stopped every single time if you do that. You have to move, you have to work. And he wasn't doing that. He was getting smashed on by Oumar Sy, and that was it, man. So good performance from Oumar Sy. I think he needed a finish, especially coming off a loss to Alonzo Minifield. So good victory for Oumar Sy. Moving on to Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. And a lot of these names I mispronounced in my predictions. Listen to the announcers, so this is one of them. Dude, I called it. Most people were picking Tybura in this fight because he was a vet, and Ante Delija was making his UFC debut. Dude, I did my research on this guy. That's why I picked him. He's had over 30 fights. He was actually supposed to make his debut against Cyril Gane back in 2020. But like honestly, I think all this worked out into his favor. Broke his leg, had like a 3-year recovery period, worked his way up on the regional scene, and now he's here. Dude, I think it worked out better because like I don't think Cyril Gane back in 2020 was even fucking ranked. I would imagine, right? So he would have, if he would have beat Cyril Gahn, he would have had to really claw his way through the heavyweight division. Now, instantly, he's in the top 10, right? I knew he was going to have a speed advantage. And it's like I've been saying, dude, these guys that are in good shape and athletic are going to beat 90% of the heavyweight division if they have skill, right? I respect Marcin Tybura, but like, dude, he's out there blobbing with his big belly, and Delija is just teeing off on him, man. Right from the jump, he was aggressive, had a clear hand speed advantage, and was lighting Tybura up. Tybura clinched him against the cage, shot a double on him. Ante Delija pummeled under. Dude, it's just this athleticism that differentiates these guys at the top of the division from everybody else. All the blobs outside that top 5 division, or like top 6 or 7 guys, right? And just like the athleticism, the strength, like the hand speed, overall just made a huge difference in this fight. And I called it to the T, man. Like, I thought Ante Delija was going to put him away. I don't think I called it that early. But yeah, man, I'm happy to get this one right. It's good to see like guys like this in the division, these athletic, actually in shape heavyweights. So dude, hell of a performance from Ante Delija, coming off a leg break. You know, supposed to make his debut in 2020. This all worked out in his favor because now he's immediately in the top 10 of the heavyweight division. And he probably only needs like 2 more wins before he's fighting for a title. So, super impressive from Ante Delija. Harry Hardwick versus Kaue Fernandes. Man, I picked Kaue. I thought Kaue would get a decision. Dude, I didn't think the leg kicks were going to be as big of a factor in this fight. Going into this, like I watched some of Harry's fights on the regional scene, and he was switching stances a lot. So I thought the leg kicks weren't going to be as much of a factor because, like in Kaue Fernandez's last fight against Garam Kutateledze, Garam was standing heavy on the front foot. So, you know, it wasn't surprising he got lit up with calf kicks all night. Dude, credit to Garam Kutateledze. How the fuck did he make it to a decision with Kaue Fernandes taking those kind of leg kicks? Dude, it immediately, like the first couple, compromised Harry Hardwick's calf, dude. Like he was already limping, and it's like, dude, like he just like throws his hands up and shrugs, like, oh well, and proceeds to just take more of the kicks and not check them till eventually he gets his leg kicked out from underneath him and can't even fucking stand up, right? Like he had to be wheeled out in a wheelchair. Kaue Fernandes might have some of the best calf kicks in the game. Not gonna lie, dude. Like that's the second time he's really damaged his opponent's legs. Like this guy's going to be a problem in the lightweight division. Those kicks are nasty. And yeah, dude, I don't know how Garam made it to decision in the last fight. You know, super nasty calf kick performance. Definitely excited to see where Kaue Fernandes goes from here. Okay, Sam Patterson, Trey Waters. I had Sam Patterson by submission, dude. I thought the grappling was going to be much more of a factor in this fight, and it really wasn't, man. It really wasn't. Like they were kind of exchanging on the feet. Sam Patterson was landing some good strikes. Until there was this sequence, he landed this overhand and then just teed off on Trey. He was popping his head back. He was just bonking Trey Waters over and over again for the standing TKO. It was nasty, and I think it was the right call, dude. Like Trey was like getting his head popped back, just getting bonked over and over again. And yeah, I mean, not what I expected, but dude, good win, good standing TKO for Sam Patterson. Brad Tavares, Robert Bryczek. I had Brad Tavares winning a decision here. This fight kind of pissed me off, dude, because this was a winnable fight for Brad Tavares, right? Obviously, Robert Bryczek, he looked good, dude. He has a lot of pressure. Heavy pressure fighter, always moving forward. But like, yeah, he was landing really bad strikes, but every time he hurt Brad Tavares is when Brad Tavares would stop circling. Like Brad Tavares would circle for 3-4 minutes of the round away from the cage. Like every time he got close to the cage, he would circle back to the center of the octagon, preventing Robert Bryczek from unloading on him. Obviously, in the first round, like the minute he stops on the cage, he would just stop, and then Robert would unload on him and hurt him big time, land nasty combinations on him. Being the vet, the seasoned vet he is, Tavares ducked under for a takedown, finished the round on top. I gave that first round to Robert Bryczek. Second round, Brad Tavares does a really good job. He circles the entire round. Circles. Occasionally he would land a 1-2, and then he would continue circling away from Robert Bryczek. Right? Really good round. Kept circling, and surprise, surprise, he wins the round. It's 1-1 going into the third. I think unless Brad finished the fight, it would have been a draw, but a draw is better than a KO loss. Round 3, same thing, dude. He's on his bike. He's moving. Occasionally he plants, lands a 1, lands a 1-2, continues to circle away. Bryczek is much more hesitant at this point because of the takedown. He did try. Tavares did try a few more takedowns moving forward, but they were stuffed because they were very telegraphed. The entire third round, though, he's doing good. He's moving away, landing a 1-2, moving away on his bike, and then he does the same shit he did in round 1. All of a sudden, he just stops against the cage. He stops moving. And Robert Bryczek jumps in, gets the TKO over him. He wasn't defending himself. He was on the ground fucking turtling up and got TKO'd. Good stoppage by the ref. You're not doing anything. You deserve to lose. I don't know what Brad Tavares was thinking, dude. He did so good staying on his bike circling, but he would just have these instances where he just stopped with his back to the cage, and he paid for it both times. Second time, Robert Bryczek was able to put him away. Good bounce back for Robert Bryczek, man. He had a rough debut and, came back and got the win over Brad Tavares, a seasoned veteran. Andreas Gustafsson versus Rinat Fakhretdinov. I had Andreas Gustafsson in this fight. I thought he was going to march forward, land a lot more than he did, not have much of a problem with the grappling of Rinat. Dude, Andreas Gustafsson looked terrible in this fight. Like, this guy looked like the equivalent of, like, some fucking... This looked like a death sentence fight or something. And whatever that's called, those, like, backyard brawls, whatever the hell that is. That looked like a guy out of, like, Backyard Brawls making his UFC debut that just got, like, won some sort of competition and got to fight in one fight in the UFC. Like, he looked so terrible, stumbling forward, winging big punches that weren't landing. Rinat was easily able to counter, defend, and he started really piecing up Andreas a few minutes into the round. Landed a head kick, stumbled it back, came forward and finished him off, dude. Like, not what I expected. I didn't expect Rinat Fakhretdinov to get that finish. I feel like his fight was kind of against the wall because you look at this guy, he's coming off the back of 2 robbery decisions. Kind of a boring guy. Like, it's guys like this who the UFC are looking at like, should we cut this guy? Is this guy even worth having around? Putting on these big cards like this? But, dude, Andreas he's terrible. He is so terrible. I probably don't ever pick this guy in a fight again unless he's fighting an absolute tomato can. But whatever. Good performance for Rinat. He needed a finish. So, hey, credit to him. All right, now last but not least, we got Sean O'Bannon, Sam Hughes. I honestly picked Sam Hughes by decision. I just thought the well-roundedness, her ability to grapple was going to be an X factor in this. Not a single side kick was thrown in this fight. Surprise. But I just knew it, dude. Sean O'Bannon is just not a good fighter. There's just not any skill going on there. She was talking shit pre-fight, saying Sam Hughes is just the most generic American fighter. It's like, you know what? Being generic gets the fucking job done sometimes, man. Being generic and doing a routine over and over again, working the basics over and over again, is how you succeed in anything in life, dude. Doing the boring shit over and over and over. Being boring and going out and being willing to perform the same boring routine over and over again. Sam Hughes, right off the jump, dude, she caught a kick, got her down, controlled top position, was landing good ground and pound. Sean O'Bannon just had no answers on the ground the whole night. Round 2 again, takes her down, and gets the sub easily. I mean, there was just not much of a resistance from Sean O'Bannon whatsoever. Like, I wonder, it's crazy she's 7-1. Well, 7-2 now, right? Because, like, there was just such a vast skill gap in this fight. And Sam Hughes exploited it perfectly. So, nice work for that. I think she's on a win streak now. So, not a bad fighter. That 10-6 record going into this is deceiving. So, all in all, man, like 11 finishes on the card, crazy energy in the crowd. Super good fight night. Like, this fight night is comparable with UFC Fight Night Tampa with Covington and Buckley last year, right? That card was absolute fire, finish after finish. there was more finishes on this. Now, in terms of picks, one, 4 and 2, 5 and 2, 6 and 2, 7 and 2, 8 and 2, 3, 8 and 4, 9 and 4 on picks. So pretty successful on picks for me. And yeah, man, super good card. Super good card. If you didn't tune into this, you honestly missed out. One of the best fight nights of the year so far, in my opinion. Yeah. Yep, that's all I got. Good night on picks. UFC Noche next week. I'm not too thrilled with that card. I think that card is kind of shit. But we'll get that prediction video out here in the next few days for that. Yeah, until next time, have a good weekend.